starting to find their feet. So we shall see. Hull against Saints. A lot at stake. To reiterate, Saints will go fourth with a win, and the Black and Whites will consolidate their spot in the top six.
Yeah, I find it's an absolutely amazing statistic. They've yet to win on home ground. Their successes have come on their travels. As Carl Felt gets us underway, I've been really looking forward to this one, Stuart. Yeah,
Felt has been a real boost for Saints since coming back into the side. And important early stages. Here is Liam Knight. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Saints men to bring him down. There is Herman Essa, who one of the outstanding players in Super League so far this season. But yeah, Hull were really disappointed, weren't they, again at Warrington, and felt that they'd missed an opportunity as well.
Yeah, the gaps between their best and their worst performances are just that too much of a gap between them. It's the consistency that every coach strives for. And they've got to the end of the first set. Caesar will put boot on this. He's been an outstanding signing, hasn't he, from West Tigers. Aidan Caesar. Tristan Saylor takes the ball. But just out of interest, we were talking about utility players, Stuart. We're going to have a more in-depth conversation about this in the big game tomorrow with Danny Maguire and Brian Pitchside, and talking about the importance of the utility play in the modern game. We've got some brilliant exponents of them across Super League, none more so than the two here today.
Yeah, and you've also got Matt Whitley, of course, who's having to slot in, isn't he, in the centres after the injury to Dion Cross. Jack Ashworth is actually playing in the second row today for Hull FC. So a lot of players out of position. And there is the Saints coach Paul Wellens with assistants Lee Breers and Eamon O'Carroll. Saints up to halfway. It is the last one. Darrell Clark will find Moses Mbai, whose kicking game has been exceptional in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well taken by Harvey Barron, gets up to his own 10. But yeah, important in these early stages. You talk about Hull, they've been so inconsistent with great performances, and they lose here at home to Cast, and they put in that performance at Warrington. But we know from what we've seen from them this season, they can put a big show on.
And look, part of that is and something I think that John Cartwright and the Hull fans in particular, all the backroom staff, they will understand that kind of goes with the territory. There is a lot of young, relatively inexperienced players who last year were blooded in the first team. This year are now finding their feet. Harvey Barron, Lewis Martin, 2 perfect examples of that. But think about the boys who aren't playing as well. The Moyes, the Barnforths, the Jebsons, the Laidlaws, Staveley, Ryan Westerman, all these kids. And with that inexperience comes mistakes invariably. They're going to have to go through this period, I think, in their development.
So much better than the last 2 years. I mean, we've already seen improvement, haven't we? And there will be more big changes coming next year, I'm sure, for the Black and Whites. They're already looking 2, 3, 4 years ahead. It is a plan. The plan here for St Helens, just inside the Hull FC half, as Matthew Lees look to find a way through. Knowles lifts the ball up for Alex Walmsley. Last one. Now, will this go left to Mbai? Is he going to lift it high? Is he going to put pressure on the wingers or on Hardaker? And it is Moses Mbai. Chips it up here, looking for Kyle Felt, one of the best exponents of going for the high ball. The referee is saying it came off Harry Robertson. Saints are saying it came off Aidan Caesar, and it may well be a knock-on from Aidan Caesar. I think Saints are going to get the ball back here, John.
Yeah, I mean, potentially an early opportunity to challenge, but it is a very early, and you have one of these captain's challenges, so Hull are going to wear that one as it comes back. Yeah, maybe there's a left arm in there from Aidan Caesar on Harry Robertson, and they'll back their defence for 60 seconds, but you can see Saints had already started to tilt that playing field. They'd made just that few more metres. It was a nice little play by Matt Whitley operating the centre tonight. Bit of footwork at the line, generated some momentum for them. And here goes Saints. Sailor out to the left. This is with the strike area.
First opportunity then for either side. 4 minutes gone at the MKM Stadium. Saints here with Moses Mbai, and Tristan Saylor looking for a way through. Saylor's been massive for Saints over the last few games. 16 try involvements, 5 touchdowns, 11 try assists. He's really come into his own, hasn't he? Here is Curtis Sirenen, missed the last couple of games. The Australian with a back spasm, but fully fit. Clark again. Here is Knowles. Knowles looking for a way through. Burrow is there to make the tackle. And they're a yard away from the Hull FC line. Clark now, and they come with Lomax looking for Felt. No way through for Carl Felt, but does well, doesn't he? Uses all his experience to go to ground under pressure from Martin and from Caesar. It's a penalty given away. I think Ed Chamberlain was in there as well. This is going to be back-to-back sets for Saints on that Hull FC line.
He's such a big body, isn't he, Kyle Felt? And just too much, just a regrip from Chamberlain. But good first contact, wasn't it, by Davy Layton? That's going to be an interesting battle. Centre on winger. Saints again, another set. An early examination of this Hull FC line.
We mentioned that stat, their last home win almost 12 months ago, John.
Crazy, crazy
20th of July last year, they beat Wigan. You may remember, famously 24 points to 22. 10 home league and cup games since 1-0.
I understand last year, but this year, blimey.
No. And they're under pressure now. League charges towards that try line. 3 of them to bring them down. Hardacre in there as well. Yusuf Aydin too. Here is Clark, real pressure in these early stages. Saylor now, Saylor goes on his own. It was well read, it had to be. Brilliant tackle from Kate Cuss to bring down Tristan Saylor. Walmsley now, offload. Darrell Clark, but the whole defence has stepped up superbly, hasn't it, in these back-to-back sets on their own try line. Can they keep Saints out? The whole fans finding their collective voices. Here is Lomax now, and Saylor puts a little kick through. It's not a good one. It's picked up there by David Litton, and Litton and Hull survived.
Right,
great defence.
I think it was composed defence as well. No one's panicking there. Kept a line together and presented a solid line. So the first examination passed by Hull FC, and now in the shape of Jordan Rapinoe, they get to try and put some distance between themselves and their own try line.
Well, Saylor came the closest, didn't he? But good defence from Kate Cust. For me, Cust, you know, is one of the best defensive halfbacks in Super League. We'll see what Hull can do with ball in hand. Already the last as Aidan Caesar forced to kick from midway inside his own half, but it's a teasing, testing one. Eventually bounces into the arms of young Owen Dagnall, only 19 years of age, but 4 tries in 5 games since he came into the side for the injured Lewis Murphy, and the conveyor belt from St Helens just keeps on moving.
Yeah, he's had a great start, hasn't he, to life in the first team. Owen Dagnall, I mean, we called the game at St Helens against Leeds a couple of weeks ago, and he was outstanding in that performance. Paul Wellens have a great deal of faith and confidence in that young man.
It was Sirenen over halfway. Well, plenty of pressure, but not a lot of punch so far from St Helens. Clark does manage to offload back to Sirenen. And Bye finds Alex Walmsley. Midway inside that Hull FC half. Last tackle again, it'll be, and Bye with a little chip over the top. Pressure here on Harvey Barron. Oh, brilliant take. And he manages to stay in play. Outstanding for the young man.
100% committed. He had Dagnall in his eye line and got up there, secured possession for his side, and that's really engaged the Hull FC faithful. The black and whites now centred midfield, trying to relieve a bit of pressure those first couple of carries.
That was outstanding though from Barron. Not just the take, but the fact that under pressure from Dagnall, he managed to stay in the field of play. Knight eludes the tackle there. And Matty Lees. Here is Hardacre. Easy take though for Tristan Saylor. Had a bit of criticism, didn't he, in the early stages in his Saints career, but has made his mark over the last 6 weeks.
I found the criticism just amazing. The statistics that he returned. Don't forget, he'd not played an awful lot in the NRL before he came across. He was limited to less than 25 NRL appearances. and they thought he was Lord and Saviour when he came over. The expectations were so high, but I think, my opinion, I think he's delivered.
He's found his feet as well. Of course, having to step up with a long-term injury to Jack Wellesby, so he will be in that full-back position for the foreseeable. That was a passing side there from Morgan Knowles. It looked like there that Matty Lees was being held back, and the referee Liam Moore agrees, penalty to St Helens.
I would challenge this one. I mean, that looked incredibly tight. There's nothing in that whatsoever. Amir Burrow has pulled down Matty Lees, and I think he's going to challenge it.
Yeah, we're going to have a captain challenge after just 10 minutes of this game. Hull challenging the call on the field that Matty Lees was pulled back. Jack Smith is the video referee. You'll have a look at this.
Hull FC challenging the on-field ruling of tackled without the ball. Matty Lees is a sport runner, and he is tackled by Amir Burrow before he has an opportunity to catch the ball. The challenge by Hull FC will be unsuccessful.
Like with Swift, as far as Hull FC are concerned, it was painful.
Look, I can see why they did it. At first glance, I thought that was really, really close, but the referees called this one correctly. I mean, we're watching this in slow motion. That's a quarter of a second, but it is, by the definition, tackle without the ball. He's tackled him on suspicion, and John Cartwright will be cognizant now of the fact that Hull FC do not have a captain's challenge. I expect this to be quite a close game, Stuart, and they've burnt that challenge after 10 minutes. They nearly burnt it after 3 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah, they were thinking about it, but yeah. Interesting as well that all the early pressure that Saints have, that they're happy to go for the 2 points, and of course without 3 of their regular kickers, it falls to Johnny Lomax. 7 out of 9 with the boot in the win over Salford last weekend, and I'm sure he's been practicing a lot. But yes, and I think it's always a danger, isn't it, to call the captain challenge early on in the game. But as you say, it was half a second at most, wasn't it? So Lomax from around about 35 yards out, but right in the middle of the field to give Saints the lead, and he does just that. So there we go, coming up for 12 minutes gone on the clock, and Saints in the front by 2 points to 0.
That's it. Look, and if I'm Hull FC as well, I'm pretty pleased that decision's been taken by St Helens to take the 2. Yes, it's a gimme, but I think it's also, if you want to use that as motivation, a real feather in the cap for that Hull FC defence in the opening 10 minutes of the game. I think it's been resilient, composed, organised, and Saints have gone, well, you know, we can roll the dice and try and bash down the door for 4 or potentially 6, or we can take 2. I think that's respect shown there to what's been put in their way so far.
I think it gets us underway again, and Lomax takes it, and here is Matty Lees. Signed a long-term contract with Saints through to 2029, I think it is. I think Warrington may have thought that they'd managed to bring him on board for next year, but Lees opting to stay with Saints. Here is Darrell Clark, a former Warrington player, and here is Alex Walmsley. Always likes to be in the thick of things. Alex Walmsley eventually gets up and plays the ball. Sirin in on the charge now, then he's got support. He's got support either side of him. Can he find Whitley? He can. Dagnall, great cover from Barron.
Great defence.
Brilliant defence, because it looked all over. Saints had 3-on-1 at one stage, and that was going to be a try. But Barron again defensively. Knowles now for Lees. Lees going through a gap and still going. But Hull are offside, right in front of the post. Now it's a big call. 2 or 4. Surely they've got to go for the try, John.
Well, I think they'll take 2 again. I think they'll take 2 again. If they've taken 2 a couple of minutes ago, no, they're going to run it. But I tell you what, if we ever get the chance to look at that defensive work, some of them in the break, but Barron and Hardacre communicating was pretty special defensively.
Well, it looked all over, didn't it? They looked nailed on a certain try. Brilliant from the whole duo.
That's a great shot from Rapinoe.
What a hit from Rapinoe. Sailor would have felt that. The Saints so far have been kept out by some brave and resolute Hull FC defence here. Clark back in for Walmsley. Walmsley going nowhere. Ashworth is in there as well, and is he tackled over the line? I think he may well be tackled just over the try line, but look at them. Brilliant defence. Iden, Hardacre, Ashworth, and Saints cannot find a way through. Clark and Bay and Lomax and Sailor now for Felt, and Felt will go over for the first try. He felt it had been coming, and Kyle Felt gets yet another try for St Helens. 12 tries in 9 games, and there was no stopping him once he got the ball, and the pressure does pay off. We saw some fabulous Hull FC defence. You felt it was coming, and Felt did score the try.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a really composed piece of attacking play. I think Hull FC had done incredibly well to defend what was coming, but it just seemed like a matter of time. They got them for numbers on the outside. Felt just stepped back inside the defender, and they open up the scoring. 2 through the penalty, the first try of the game, and it's Lomax on the move. Sailor with a miss-out pass. He just looks like he's got all the time in the world, Tristan Sailor. Really delicate hands, sums the defence up in a microsecond.
Well, we go back to that stat that we mentioned before. He's been involved now in 17 tries in the last, well, 5 and a bit games. That's 5 tries and 12 try assists now for Tristan Sailor.
Yeah, and don't forget, I mean, he's been asked to play 3 different positions since he's come to Saints in his first year. Signed as a 6, has played full-back and on the wing as well. And I think he's returned with interest wherever he's been put. So Lomax with the conversion attempt from the sideline. This will be a test.
From what you've seen, is full-back his best position? Bear in mind that Saints have got Jack Welsby to come back, and some news about Welsby. He had that bad knee injury, didn't he? But he is working very hard, and he's ahead of schedule in trying to get back from that injury. Jack Welsby may well be beginning of September. So Lomax off the touchline. Wow, that's a fantastic kick. We were literally right behind that, and as soon as ball left boot, there was only one place that was going, through the H's. After 16 minutes, St Helens lead 8-0. John Wells. What
a strike that was. Taking a look at the try. Sailor, who's taking the ball now, just that cut-out ball. Look, just he sums up the defence and what it's doing in a second. It's those naturally gifted footballers that can do that. Looks like they've got all the time in the world. The pass was on the money, and Carl Felt, well, he missed a large chunk of the season through injury, didn't he? He had a hand injury, but he's making up for lost time.
Yeah, scored 7 tries, didn't he, in those 2 games against Leeds? A 4-try game and a hat-trick game. George Delaney is on for St Helens. Hull FC would just be glad to get hand on ball and to try and create some pressure inside the St Helens half of the field, because we haven't seen them with ball in hand in the Saints half so far. Sailor once more, just inside his own half of the field. Ball will go back to Moses and Bay, who splits the full-back and the winger, and the ball bounces on the try line, so Hull and Hardacre will be pinned back close to their own line.
Yeah, good work from Hardacre. A lot of ground to cover there, and he's left the Saints player in Johnny Lomax on the deck. They've got to generate some momentum here out of this route. They've got forwards, they've got middle forwards who are still 10 metres ahead of the ball. A fair bit of fatigue setting in here. It's a warm afternoon. They've got to do a lot of defending. They've got to get right down the end of this. This has got to be a complete set and a long kick.
Oh, they'll be hoping maybe for a penalty or a 6 again here. SA it is. Midway inside his own half of the field. Small steps for the black and whites. That was Iden. Caesar, this is under pressure from Leeds, who gets the kick away, taken by young Owen Dagnall. Yeah, it's all about building pressure, isn't it? But Hull need the ball to do that.
Yeah, and they've got to step it up in defence here. Put a defensive set together and really try and restrict some metres. Good heavy contact in the first tackle. Johnny Lomax receiving some treatment just off our screen at the moment.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look well. I think he's going to continue, but he's not 100%.
No, he went down, didn't he? And may well have got his head in the wrong position trying to tackle Zach Hardacre a short while ago. He's looking to check up on Johnny Lomax. If they lose Lomax, that's a massive reshuffle. For the moment, Lomax stays on. That was Robertson on halfway. Here is Saylor. Offload to Clark. But it came off the fingertips of Darrell Clark. And Hull will get the ball just inside their own half. And the first mistake, first real error from St Helens, and the first real chance for Hull, trailing 8-0.
Just got a little bit greedy, didn't they? They've been having a lot of success here in and around the ruck. They've angled a lot of players back in around and in behind the first and second markers. They've got a lot of joy out of it, but Paul Wellens and the coaching staff will not be happy with that. Just a little bit greedy. Lomax looks to have shaken off that knock. I think he just got his head jammed in when he was making a tackle against Zach Hardacre. Look, nothing in it. They often do look innocuous. But he looks good to continue. Thumbs up to the physio.
So let's see now. Decent-ish field position, we should say, but a chance certainly for Hull FC to mount some pressure. Rappenar brought down. Kate Custard's there, leaves it for Amir Borough. Here is Jack Ashworth. Won a grand final with St Helens all the way back in 2019. Jack Ashworth, we hear, bound for Castleford in 2026. Here is SASA, but the chance is gone because the ball has gone and the ball has gone down. And a mistake from Herman SASA. Well, we were just about to say, first real opportunity with ball in hand in the Saints half of the field, and then in a split second the ball isn't in hand.
Yeah.
They've lost it.
And it's unlike Herman, but I think it's a really great shot from the inside from Matty Lees. Matty Lees and Morgan Knowles have really injected some line speed in the last couple of sets in defence. Morgan Knowles in particular, I mean, he's massively consistent at that anyway. It's a big reason why teams struggle to get meters on Saints. Those two really lead the line in terms of their line speed and aggression.
Yeah, well, Morgan Knowles, I'm sure, will be a big miss for St Helens next season and beyond. Going to play in the NRL with his former coach, Christian Wolfe, at the Dolphins. Can't blame him. Here is Sirinin.
Big pick-up for the Dolphins, that, yeah, and a big loss to Super League.
Saints leading by 8 points to 0. Here is Knowles and Lees, the two partners in crime for Saints. Midway inside the Hull FC half. Delaney looking for a way through. Yusuf Aydin hanging on. Good tackle from the young man. Moses Mbai and Saylor, that came off a Hull hand. And Barron picks it up. The Hull fans were half hopeful that he could go the distance. But I think it was a hand in there by Jordan Rappenar.
Yeah, it's just a reach in from Rappenar, who's caught on his heels a little bit. Saylor again in front of him. And a penny for John Cartwright's thoughts, you know, because I mean they're 8 points down, but they have been on the back foot for the majority of the opening quarter of this game.
Another big defensive effort needed from Hull. Drew here against Lee, but lost here against Wigan. Hull KR, Wigan again and Castleford, but 8 of their last 11 matches are at home. Hull FC, so they're going to have to get their home form in order if they want to challenge and qualify for the top 6 of the playoff. Defending now again as Knowles runs into Aydin. Busy, isn't he, Yusuf Aydin? Relentless in defence. Brings down Morgan Knowles. Clark as they go to the left this time. And here is Whitley. Runs into Rappenar. That's a good tackle. Yard or two away from the Hull FC try line. Rappenar and Custard was in there in the tackle. And the referee not happy with the wrestling at the play of the ball. So go again. So they do go against St Helens. Delaney drafted into Sean Wayne's England squad this week. George Delaney leads on the charge. Good tackle low by SASA, and high, I think it was Burr and Hardacre, wasn't it? Lomax, though, will go high for Kyle Felt, but it wasn't a very good kick. And I think that's a huge opportunity missed by St Helens against the whole side, who are out on their feet at the moment. So another fantastic defensive effort for the black and white.
Kick just overcooked from Johnny Lomax. Even Kyle Felt couldn't climb the ladder to get hold of that one. And again, look at Saints here. Look at the line speed. These first couple of tackles, SASA gets nothing out of that one. Rapiner is met on the advantage line by 3 Saints defenders. And once again, Saints in attack, in possession. You saw Matthew Lees there careening towards the sticks. They're really targeting that space in behind the ruck. They've been really consistent with that.
Well, they go inside their own half. Here is Sam Esse on from the bench with a powerful run-up. They're going to need Esse, and Aydin runs into Mbaye and Delaney and Lees on halfway. Last one, again, not too much field position. Aiden Caesar's role in this match so far has just been to kick the ball on the last. He's just not been able to get his hands on the ball.
That's better, though. There's a lot more hand time on it. Great chase from Custon Esse. And this time, Saints got nowhere to go. Slow play the ball. And again, met on the advantage line. This is better. Hull FC can build on this.
Yeah, they just need a big defensive set, maybe force an error. Lomax and Sirenin on that far side, offloads to Mbaye, the ball bounces backwards, but yeah, much better this from Hull FC. There's Rapiner and Jed Cartwright. I'll be delighted to see Cartwright back on the field, of course, the coach's son, but he had a really bad hamstring injury, picked up, I think, all the way back in March against Wakefield, nearly 4 months out, so he's back in business. Can Hull FC get back in business? Here is Robertson now for Saints.
Good defence, great defence.
Loses the ball, Robertson has lost the ball. Mistake there, he was saying it was pulled out. Play on, says the referee. Now is this the chance Hull have been wanting?
It's the chance they've earned. That setting defence was outstanding. Saints got nothing through them through the front door, so they tried late in the tackle count to shift. FC's defence was really patient, and this is the reward. It's the reward for a lot of hard work, those small things, and here they go.
But Caesar running into Morgan Knowles. First real attack, 26 minutes on the clock, inside the St Helens half. Cust and Cartwright there was trying to get the ball out. It's a good job he kept hold of it, but he has lost it. He has lost it. And just as they get in a position to mount a real threat on the St Helens line, they come up with the error.
I think he felt the pressure release a little bit and thought there may be a chance for an offload. Did look like he tried to drag it back in, but it's just bobbled into Matt Willey's shoulder, which constitutes a knock-on. See him just having to reach around the top there to try and offload to Jordan Rapiner. Touches Matt Whitley. Well, Matt Whitley knew nothing about it, but it's a knock-on nonetheless. And Jed makes the mistake, and John, well, he loves his son. Every father loves the son, don't they? But professionally, not happy.
I'll tell you what, though, I reckon he will still be reasonably happy. The fact that they have defended for most of this half, the fact that they've had no ball, little or no ball in this first half, the fact that they've kept Saints out for the most part, and they're only trailing 8-0. The way that the half has gone, I think he'd be reasonably pleased.
He'd be reasonably pleased. I'll tell you what would improve that mood a little bit is if they could jag something here before half-time.
Yeah, spot on.
They've shown in the last couple of defensive sets just what they're capable of. Good contact again. Listen, Hull FC now, they're really getting the tails up, driving back. They can smell something in Saints. Maybe the intensity's dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, that was Ringfield pushed back by Chamberlain and by Aiden Caesar. Yeah, but they're stepping up here at Hull FC in defence. Darryl Clark going from dummy half, takes play inside the Hull half of the field. The ball goes to ground and the ball goes down. That's a second mistake in this game for Darrell Clark, and it's a mistake again forced by Helens.
Sam Esse did really well here. He was caught not square at marker. He made sure he didn't commit and got himself out of the way. And there were other Hull FC defenders who did get involved. And then there's a shove there from Esse at the end of the tackle, and that forces the mistake. That's a really, really mature piece of play from the big man.
We've talked a lot about Hull FC. If you're Saints and if you're the Saints coach Paul Wellens, are you disappointed at only leading 8-0?
I think, look, you've got to give credit where credit's due. I think for 99% of the time, this Hull FC defence has been resolute, watertight. When they've had a great deal of difficulties breaking them down. There's just that one clean break from Sunan, really. That's all they've had in this first half. They've had the bulk of possession, that's true. But this defence has been good.
Hardacre runs into Clark and then by. But it was high from Darrell Clark. It's a penalty from that, and possibly the first penalty that Hull FC have had. But now is there a feel that things are turning a little?
Now,
10 minutes to half-time.
This is the break they were talking about. This is what we need. And you said the 6 again or a penalty. Well, here it is, Hull FC.
Cuss finds Caesar now. Hardacre tackle on David Litton. But this is as close as Hull FC have been to the Saints line in this first half. Iden goes down. There's another penalty. He was actually slipping, I think, to be fair. He was going down in the tackle. It'll just be a penalty. Words, though, with the Saints defence. So back-to-back penalties.
Well, this is where Cust and Caesar have got to get their heads together. They've not had many opportunities in this first half. This is a gilt-edged opportunity. 10 minutes to go in the half. They've enjoyed the upper hand. Here we go, in movement.
Yeah, trying to test the St Helens defence. Cuss finds Caesar, and Hardacre gets around the tackle of Robertson. Wingfield and Robertson eventually bring him down with the help of Matty Lees, but Hull are now moving. Caesar with a little offload for Liam Knight, twisting and turning out of the tackle. 7 yards out, right in front of the St Helens post, as close as they come, and Sam Esse charges towards the line. And it's a 6 again. But this is the chance that they've been wanting all this half. Here is Cartwright, steps inside, looking for the offload, does get the offload out, but he just passes it behind. There was no real intent in that. And a mistake from Jed Cartwright. Well, that was the moment for Hull FC, and they come up with a blunder.
Don't cut to the coach now. Don't cut to Dad now, whatever you do, because I tell you what, first tackle, set restart, enjoying the first bit of sustained pressure. We don't want to see what the coach looks like now. I tell you what. Oh, there we go. It's fuming.
Yeah. Back-to-back penalties and a set restart. So Saints escape, you feel. They weren't tested as much as possibly they should have been, and here is Ignatius Parsi, who's on for St Helens, and from that error from Cartwright, 5 yards from the St Helens line, Moses Mbai is going to put the kick up towards 5 yards from the Hull FC line, and Siranin charges into the tackle on Hardacre, but a real chance gone for the
Oh, yeah, I mean, the best opportunity they've had, and when Cartwright was rolling towards that Saints line, just saw an opportunity that wasn't quite there. Again, Saints, you saw through Parsi that time, just hitting that area in behind the ruck. They've just been relentless with it in this first half.
Martin nearly found the way through. Litton, rather. Good stuff from Davy Litton, and just much better and playing the ball a lot quicker as well, you feel. Last one as Burrow is brought down. Hardacre finds Caesar. Kick goes downfield, and it'll be taken on the bounce by the teenage winger Owen Dagnall, but certainly a lot more purpose behind Hull FC in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've really turned it up, and they've realised that just from the peak where Saints started, because they started hot, Saints, didn't they? They just maybe dialed that down a tiny bit, and Hull FC have come roaring back. They just need to apply some genuine pressure at that end of the field. They're not going to get that many looks, you wouldn't feel, against St Helens. You've got to make them count.
Delaney was on the charge. Here is Mbaye now, and Parsi. Good defence from Burrow, but good offload to Clark, and he's nearly through. And Chamberlain round the ankles. May well have saved Hull FC there. Last tackle as Mbaye again goes high towards Harvey Barron. Yeah, apologies there to Owen Dagnall. He took him in the air. Penalty. And he apologises to Dagnall to his opposite number, Harvey Barron. But I'll tell you what, Barron's been brilliant under the high ball.
I mean, this take's nothing short of sensational. I mean, he was to get 8 feet in the air and then comes down hard. And Dagnall, I mean, he's going for the catch, which then he aborts because he knows he's not going to get there. Look, it's just unfortunate. It'll be a penalty. But that was a genuine contest at the start. He realised he wasn't going to get there, so there's an arm that came out.
But then he grabs his arm.
Winger on winger, so saith the winger.
I mean, look, for me, it should be a penalty only. I think that's the correct decision. And Johnny Lomax was just trying to make sure that the referees didn't get overexcited there, because you can almost say that's a rugby collision. You know, it's two people genuinely competing for the ball. One beats the other invariably. Owen Dagnall can't disappear, can he? So, really brave stuff from Harvey Barron.
Brad Fash is on. Hull's longest serving players. Testimonial coming up next year. Here is Sam Ething. What a success he's been on a season loan from Wigan. Will he be here next year? That's the big question. We shall see. Here is Hardaker. Obeys Matty Lees. Lees comes back for more. Delaney will bring him down along with Darrell Clark, just shy of halfway. Aydin finds Caesar. Bit of space maybe for Rapinoe. Up to halfway. It's another penalty. It may well have been Cyril on Rapinoe. A spate of penalties for Hull here.
Well, there's words being said as well. Rapinoe didn't like that at all. The eyes looking at the Saints defenders. And there's a decent spread play, and it put Rapinoe in possession with a bit of space in front of him, and he's caught late. It's late, isn't it? Mbaye as he's dropping. Whitley's high, but then Mbaye, I mean, look, he doesn't expect his head to be there, but he didn't miss, did he? And with 4 minutes to go, Hull FC again, another opportunity.
Here is Esse. Can Hull FC get points on the board before half-time? Trailing 8 points to 0. They dug in and they fought their way back in. Big hit on Yusuf Aydin, midway inside the Saints half. Here is Caesar. Hardaker looking to go through, just throwing out a little dummy as Cartwright was coming in on the diagonal. Amir Burrow once more. Cade Cust looking at this left-hand side. Long pass there for Martin. Martin will go to the corner. And I think he's shy. He's shy. It was great defence in the end by Saints. He was diving, he was diving, he was diving. And as he was trying to put the ball down, he lost possession.
It's Harry Robertson. 2 weeks ago, I think he made one of the tackles of the season. This one's not bad either. He must have covered 20 metres and ends up the wrong side of the advertising hoardings as well. Yeah, you've got to put that down as a try-saver from the young Harry Robertson, who celebrated his call-up into the extended train-on squad for Great Britain this week. Lewis Martin, when we know what he's like as a finisher, was getting ready, getting the ball in the correct hand to ground in the corner, but that man was having none of it.
Superb from Robertson, as close as Hull FC have come. Lewis Martin, their leading try scorer, 12 already in Super League this season. Yeah, but Robertson try-saver.
Move down, that's one.
Into the last couple of minutes. It's been a decent puzzle, hasn't it, this half? Saints dominating, only getting the one try, and Hull finding a way back into it, but not able to execute. and put points on the ball.
You're right, it's a puzzle and neither side's got the key yet, have they? I mean, Saints clearly have been able to put points on the board, they've been able to unlock this Hull FD defence, but it's been pretty miserly. Not many opportunities offered, and you feel if Hull FC could just put a couple of sets together the right end of the field, they may have some real joy.
Just previously there, we saw another great charge from Matty Lees. But this is the last for Saints midway inside the Hull half, and then Bai will go high again. Hardacre comes in, takes it well, and has been very, very confident, hasn't he? He's slotted into that full-back slot, which is, let's face it, where he made his name.
Yeah, had a lot of career success in the full-back role, and it's where he feels most at home. And he's been playing for the benefit of the team in different positions in the back row and in the centre, but he looks very, very good at full-back.
10 consecutive games in the second row.
It's kind of like your worst nightmare when you're outside back and then the coach comes and taps you on the shoulder and says, listen, I think you can maybe do a job for us in the back row. Oh dear, Essay
has made the mistake. Now Saints here, I'm sure, will move quickly to stop the clock. They may get 2 or 3 sets away here into the last 30 seconds or so, and they have stopped the clock, so let's see what Saints can do from here. 30 seconds, 3 plays, maybe 4 if they're quick. They may only need 1, let's just see.
Just thinking, maybe do they consider a drop goal here? They're going to have 2 plays. If there's nothing doing in the first play, wait and see whether someone drops in the pocket, because I mean it has been a hard-fought game, hasn't it?
Well, we thought it would be close, didn't we?
Yeah, they've scrapped. Both sides have had to scrap and fight for every metre.
Mulling over the stats before the game, it suggested that there wasn't going to be much in this. So Saints have got a couple of opportunities here as Saylor goes down, just to make sure that there's no call for obstruction. Takes the tackle. 20 seconds to go and counting. Ignatius Passy, midway inside the Hull half. Doesn't seem to be too much urgency here, does it? This might be the last one. Counting down, and Moses Mbai does go for the drop goal. But it goes straight to Davy Litton, and Litton, well, chances are possibly one of the worst drop goal attempts that we've seen in 2025 from Moses Mbai. But it's still been, as I say, a real puzzle, a game of chess, and as John said, no one has got the key or the key move to win this game at the moment.
Question is, are we going to get some box office stuff from Hull FC in this second half? Because look, they've got the tools to do it, they just need to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, that will be the big question, I'm sure. Just to reiterate, Saints win, they go 4th above Leeds on points difference. Leeds, of course, in the big game away at Hull KR across the city here. Worth noting, Saints have won 16 in their last 17 games against Hull FC.
Yeah, so that omen doesn't bode particularly well, does it? And they're in the box seat here, but look, I don't think this is an invincible Saints outfit, and I don't think we've seen the best out of Hull FC yet.
Well, that's Carl Felt, the only try scorer of the game so far. I'm sure tries will come in the second half. It's a warm day. Temperatures around 24, 25 degrees Celsius here in Hull, so whether that will take its toll on either side as the second half progresses, we shall see. Saints dominating, only scoring 8 points. Hull have their chances, unable to come up with anything. We suspect that they will be ready to give it a real go in this second half. Saints 40 minutes away from going 4th in Super League. Hull FC 40 minutes away potentially from their first home win of the season. As we said in the first half, crucially, if they get it right here, 8 of their last 11 games are at home, and Saints come up with the error. Well, straight away at the start of the second half, and look at the celebrations from Hull FC. Delaney it was. He just lost the ball, didn't he?
Well, Brad Fash has fired into him as well, hasn't he? Delaney with I think Delaney was actually frustrated off the kickoff.
Yes.
He'd come off the back fence and he was due for a big run, and he wasn't past the ball. I think he's fired up for that next opportunity to carry, and he's just been lined up there by Fash, who's dislodged the ball. So we talk about possession, weren't we, in territory. Well, here is an early look.
It's a perfect start for the second half for Hull FC. Can they transfer this into points? Saints coming up with the error. I'm sure it's one of the... Oh, dearie me. David Litton. Well, that was a set move from the scrum, and it all went horribly wrong. And now there's a penalty. I think it was for mainly being offside, wasn't it? Hull picking up the ball, but look at this, John.
Yeah, and he was always going to Zach Hardaker, and Aidan Caesar has given Davy Litton a proper spray off the back of that. He realised what was gifted to Hull FC then in that set, and it's a miscommunication and not the start to the second half that John Cartwright wanted. It's kind of more of the same, isn't it? It's defending in the wrong end of the field.
Oh, from being... and now Wingfield is knocked on. What on earth is going on? What on earth is going on? We've had 3 sets, and Saints have lost the ball twice. Hull FC have lost the ball once. That's a big error from Wingfield. We've seen 3 really bad errors from Delaney, from Litton, and now from Wingfield.
Both sides left their hands back in the dressing rooms, haven't they? So a let-off for Hull FC because it wasn't a particularly special start to the second half. John Cartwright maybe breathe a little easier now, as they're going to get possession back, and they won't make that same mistake again. And David Litton won't dare, not given the spray that Aidan Caesar gave him.
Well, we gave the second half the big build-up, didn't we?
Yeah, stay tuned. I'm sure there's some rugby that's going to break out at some point.
Here is Hardaker finally getting hands on ball a couple of minutes after he should have done.
He's been
that
good,
set
hasn't he?
play for the scrum. He's been excellent, Zach Hardaker. But Hull with a chance to find themselves or feel themselves back into this game. Cartwright stopped on halfway. Amir Borough fast with the offload to Sam Esse, brought down by Lomax, pushes off the St Helens scrum half. Here is Aidan Caesar, nowhere to go, but all of a sudden somewhere to go. And Tristan Saylor with a fantastic tackle, but the tails are up now, Hull FC. Here is Hardaker, holds onto the ball, Lees brings him down, bit of help from Delaney and Fasiranin. Last one. Can they get the first points of the second half? Caesar with a little kick through towards the line, but it was straight at Kyle Feld and well read by the veteran winger. But if I'm not mistaken, the first line break that we've seen from Hull in this game, and it so nearly paid dividends. But now here's Robertson down that far side. Robertson, has he got to pause? 4 Hull defenders bringing Harry Robertson down, but all the Saints players left him to it. Robertson created the space, and now from one end of the field to the other, it's Saints with an opportunity, and Mbai looking there for Siranin coming through on the gap. This is much better after the scrappy start we saw from both sides to the second half. Here is Lees now, and Delaney runs into Esse and to Ed Chamberlain. Chamberlain does a lot of good work, you know, unseen off the ball, and there he is again bringing down Darryl Clark. Saints now inside the Hull 10 on the last tackle. Ball with Moses and Mbai, switches it out to that right-hand side. Felt goes up, Felt will try and score, and Felt may well have got the ball down. Kyle Felt with an absolutely sensational try for St Helens. That's the tactic. Go to Felt, and he will score, and he has scored, and St Helens stretch their lead.
Oh, he's an absolute weapon in the air, Kyle Felt, isn't he? 2 tries this afternoon, try number 12 in Super League for this season. And St Helens get themselves into position and show how ruthless they can be. This is the try, and by a very deliberate move back to the short side, Felt gets over the top of Lewis Martin and grounds the ball. We're taking a look at that, definite step back from Mbai, and just watch Kyle Felt fly.
Well, this is 12 tries in 9 games. He scored a 4 recently. He scored a 3 recently. Now he's scored a 2, but that was classic wingers play.
But how did they get in that position? Well, I'll tell you how. An audacious break by this man. Harry Robertson, just brilliant top-end speed. I mean, that just swung. That's a 50-metre swing in one tackle after Hull FC themselves got close, and Kyle Felt has to step up and does.
Yeah, well, it was Kyle Felt who blunted the Hull FC attack, wasn't it, with a little kick towards the line by Aidan Caesar. 2 minutes later, it's Kyle Felt who has blunted and dealt a big blow to Hull FC with his second try. Big kick this. 46 minutes on the clock, but if Lomax can kick this off the touchline, it becomes a 3-score ball game. 2 out of 2 for Lomax. Big kick. But it goes to the right of the post. You can always tell the kicker, and he wasn't happy as soon as the ball left his boot.
This is the break again, and this could be a key 60 seconds in the context of this game, Stuart. Harry Robertson, care of Kyle Felt, goes 60 metres downfield, and then the pinpoint kick and the aerial weapon that is Kyle Felt. He's big and he's strong, and once he's got that ball in his possession, it was always ever going to be one result: try St Helens.
I know you talked about him before, but how good is Harry Robertson for his age?
Oh, look, we were talking to George Whitby, weren't we, earlier today, and just talking about that plethora of talent that's coming through. And Whitby, of course, himself, has just been given another week out, isn't he, after returning from head injury protocols. But, you know, you can see him a really special talent. He was talking in glowing terms about Harry Robertson, about Noah Stevens, the next generation of Saints players. And you're right, I mean, they're one of the teams that regularly produce talent of the highest standard.
Here is passing. Yeah, will that be a key moment? Hull were so close to perhaps breaking the deadlock. Saints go the length and score the try. I'll tell you what, that was another great. He's been outstanding for me today for St Helens, Matthew Lees. You mentioned him in the first half, but he has really stepped up. Ball goes back to Moses and Mbaye again on the last. This time the target is Barron, who takes it really well. And he's pushed it to touch. Was the tackle completed? The referee is saying that the tackle was completed. Penalty to Hull. Yeah,
just a snapping concentration from Sirinen. I mean, it's a great take, isn't it? And then he's grounded there because Matt Whitley's holding on to him when he's on the floor. Ball carrying arms on the floor. And well, I'm surprised at this. I'll be surprised if this gets overturned.
Well, let's see. I think what Saints are saying is that he was still playing the ball. It's a captain challenge. Jack Smith will rule.
Tackle 0. Saints are challenging the ruling of a penalty. On that. Right, the hand is on there. Let's just confirm on this angle when the ball carrying arm is down. Ball carrying arm is down. Is this tackle broken or not? At what point is the ball carrying arm down? See if we've got anything from the other side. No, that's not going to give us it. The ball carrying arm is up at this point. The ball carrying arm is still up. It's down at this point. Is the tackle broken? The tackle appears to be broken at this point. And then Sirinen completes the tackle and puts him into touch. The challenge by Saints will be successful.
Well, there you go. The captain challenge is successful. The tackle hadn't been completed. The video ref is ruling that Barron was still trying to play on. So St Helens will get the ball instead of Hull FC. John Wells.
No, this is why. I mean, I'd do really poorly if it was a captain's challenge when I was playing. So they're saying that Matt Whitley's actually fallen off the tackle here, which is why Curtis Sirinen is allowed to then engage. It's not a second effort, not a flop. And a timely intervention from Johnny Lomax, the captain.
Well, let's be honest, we haven't seen too many great captain challenges in this season since it's been introduced. That one was a great one, but whether it was more by luck than judgment. What it does mean is that Saints are going to have another opportunity here to attack the Hull FC line. And buy for the ever-willing Matty Lees for St Helens. 12-0 they lead. This is a massive moment in this game. Lomax once more for Saylor. Saylor for Robertson, and he's nearly over. And is he over? Can he get the ball down? Harry Robertson or Martin Townham over the line. Well, desperate defence there from Hull FC. Robertson trying to get the ball down, but Chamberlain was the hero once more. He's been brilliant on defence, Ed Chamberlain, and he's just denied Robertson a possible try. 2 tackles left in the set here for the Saints. Delaney brought down, 10 yards out from the Hull line. Last one it is. Clark it is. Well, I'm not sure here that Matty Lees heard the call, because that is a turnover just shy of the Hull FC line. It'll be played by Yusuf Aydin for Hull FC.
So they've survived, but they're creaking a little bit, Hull FC at the moment. There's a couple of players receiving running repairs. Lewis Martin with the first carry, and then another mistake from David Litton. Oh, dear me. The wheels have fallen off, Stuart.
Well, they're putting themselves under unnecessary, enormous pressure. And Aydin was holding on to Matty Lees for dear life there. Saints with another great opportunity here. Are Hull going to be masters of their own downfall? We shall see. 50 minutes gone, 12-0 the score. Here is Lees once more. And Saints are sniffing something, but another try here would make it really difficult for Hull FC. Lomax and Saylor. Saylor for Felt, who'll cut inside, gets the ball back, but this time it's Saints who come up with the error. Carl Felt, brilliant defence again. It was young Martin, it was Chamberlain again. Felt couldn't get the ball back, and Hull survived.
Yeah, it's a great piece of set-up play, and once again, Saylor taking it into the line. David Litton has come careering in. Lewis Martin was made the first contact on Carl Felt, and then David Litton's redeemed himself there, hasn't he, after that error in possession. And Hull FC survive another examination. Herman Esse back on the field for half his namesake, Esse, who takes a breather. And they need a bit of punch, don't they? They've been missing the big man.
Yep. Rapidar for Hull FC. I think that could be a big moment in the game. Saints there with 2 sets effectively on the Hull FC line and coming up with nothing. Brad Fast runs into Clark and Ignatius Parsi.
Yeah, this is the big man. This is they need some work out of him now.
Well, gets the offload off to Cade Cuss, but there was nothing doing for Cuss, who's found a home at Hull. Never really worked out for him, did it, at Wigan or Salford, but he's been excellent, and so is this man, Caesar. He's got support, Caesar. He's got support from Martin, and Martin will score. Saints is Litton, David Litton with a fantastic try. Litton was supporting, and out of nothing, they get the try. Caesar it was. Litton with a brilliant finish. Fabulous try, but we're just going to get it checked by the video ref.
Tackle 4, try on field, just checking grounding of the ball. See how his hand on this ball at the point the ball is grounded. Switch to the behind angle. So that'll give us a better view. And the ball is grounded on the line whilst he's in possession of the ball. I've made my decision.
So the try is confirmed. Absolutely nothing. They're back in it. We said they needed the big players to set up. And Aiden Caesar did step up his second line break. Brilliant support from David Litton, who made a couple of poor errors in this second half, but he's more than made up for it. Look at this.
You take a look at Aiden Caesar in the build-up to this one. He's just sitting behind the play the ball. They do go short side and then burst straight through. It's his second line break of the afternoon. He picked the retreating defender, lined up the fullback, and David Litton, one of Hull's bright young stars, have dragged FC back into the game. Now then, this is an important kick as well. Zach Hardaker's got a great strike rate.
Off the touchline, does he like it? He loves it. He loves it, and it's 12 points to 6. And from Saints dominating and looking like they could get the try to put this game out of sight, not a bit of it. Davy Litton, fabulous finish from this break from Aiden Caesar.
The work from Caesar, I mean, it's the second time. I think they've only made 2 line breaks. Caesar, both of them, and provides the try assist as well for Davy Litton, who opens up, and he beats the foot race with Harry Robertson to ground in the corner. And look at the celebrations. I mean, that's absolutely engaged the 11,000 Hull FC fans that are in this stadium. We've got a game, Stuart.
Well, we thought we would have. And here is Brad Fash. Litton, the try scorer. But what I liked about David Litton there was that he was so aware of the ability of Aiden Caesar to do exactly what he did, and he was in support in a flash.
Oh, now a penalty as well. Marker's not square. Herman Essa has fired into that area of the ruck. It was never really got themselves set following that first hit up, and Hull FC get to clear the lines pretty easily here. Now we've seen a change in a turning of the tide. Don't forget that started with a David Litton, Lewis Martin hit on Kyle Felt to deny him a try. Scored one of their own, and now they're in possession with the tails up.
Absolutely. Different feel about things as well. Different feel about the game and the atmosphere. 55 minutes on the clock. 12 points to 6. Cuss finds Cartwright on halfway. He had to find his feet, Jed Cartwright, after nearly 4 months on the sidelines. Brad Fash finds SASA, but runs into Lees, Knowles, Clark, all there for St Helens. Fash once more. Much better, much more purpose and much more belief as well from Hull FC. Last one, right back in the game. Cust on the last, it goes back to Caesar. And Caesar left-footed here will try and put pressure on young Owen Dagnall, but the youngster does well, takes it well under pressure.
Nailed in the back as well from Jed Cartwright on the catch. That's a super confident catch, that. Clutch catch, and now look at Hull FC go to work. Cartwright with a double. The fans are engaged. You look at them try and pin him. St Helens in the corner, halfway through the tackle count already.
Still inside their own 10. Make no mistake, Saints are up against it here. Hull FC with their best period of the game. So the crowd are getting engaged as well. Felt is brought down. They're only just outside their own 10 and 2 tackles left in this set. Hull's defence is stepping up once more. Walmsley brought down by Caesar and by the ever-ready Ed Chamberlain, who for me has been absolutely outstanding today. Moses Mbai does get the kick away, but it'll be taken by Zach Hardaker midway inside his own half. And here come Hull FC again with their tails very much up.
Right, so it was a brilliant set of defence. St Helens barely cracked their own 20, bit of kick pressure as well. And then here's Rappan, who's going through the line on the halfway line, 2 tackles gone.
The key for me, what a crunching tackle that was. Cruncher by Clark on Litton. The key for me is the belief that seems to be searing through this Hull FC side now. Liam Knight is back on. Oh, he's lost the ball. Well, just as they were beginning to build some pressure, The mistake comes from Liam Knight, who's only just come back on the field. Big relief for Saints. 12-6 they lead.
Oh, just a pin in the balloon of atmosphere that was building. Liam Knight steps in back around the ruck, and there's plenty of hands around the ball, but it's the ball carrier's responsibility to be neat and tidy there, and Liam Knight just gets that eased out a little. John Cartwright, I think he's pointing and gesturing to anybody who cared to listen. He doesn't agree with that decision. He thinks there was too much on around the ball. Yeah, he's an animated character, isn't he, Mr. Cartwright? There's some famous coaches in our game who wear the heart on the sleeves. I think he's one of them.
Here's Robertson, just over halfway. Lomax now with a dummy brought down by guess who? Ed Chamberlain. Unsung hero, but does so much good work. Walmsley now for Saints.
Move, Liam, all the way, Zach.
Can they strike back? Noah Stevens is on for St Helens. Here is Mbai and Sirinen finds Dagnall, but has to cut inside under pressure from Barron. Can Saints hit back after that barrage from the black and whites? And here is Alex Walmsley. Stopped 10 yards out from the Hull SC line. Already the last one. Played by Clark. Clark finds Mbai. Dagnall now with a little chip forward.
Well fielded.
It was well fielded. Well done by Jordan Rapinoe. And now Saints will try and pin Hull back to their own.
Dagnall's out. Dagnall's out. I think there's been a clash of heads here. And I think it may even be some friendly fire. Dagnall's reeled out of that one. Harvey Barron with a really brave carry. Hull FC pinned back in the corner after a good take from Jordan Rapinoe. Paul Wellens will be really concerned here. There's a young man who's burst onto the scene. He's still down on the floor. He's receiving attention from the medical staff, and I think it was some friendly fire. There's a immediate call to the touchline that it's going to be at the very least a head injury assessment. I think he's collected some friendly fire here as St Helens ramped up to try and put some pressure.
Well, it was the kick, wasn't it? A little kick forward on the last by Dagnall, trying to create some chaos in the Hull SC line. It was well fielded by Jordan Rapinoe, and from the ensuing play the ball, Harvey Barron, Brad Fash, and I think as you say, John, he just got a heavy blow to the head. So we're approaching the hour mark. 12-6 Saints lead. They got the first try of the second half through Kyle Felt. Well, thankfully he looks okay. Yeah, at the very least it'll be an HIA, but he's up anyway.
Yeah, I think now that we know that Owen is okay, let's take a look at the collision. He's come in, and it's been collected. I think it's Morgan Knowles' shoulder that he's collected. Friendly fire, as we thought. A lot of pressure coming in from Saints to try and limit those meters, and there's a concern here for Paul Wellens because there's no obvious replacement. They have to do some fair juggling because Owen Dagnall will spend the next 15 minutes, and he reels out of that. He reels out that badly. I'd be surprised if we see him again this afternoon.
But the good news is that he's up, he's okay, and he's able to walk off the field on his own. But there will be an HIA, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Saints manage this. Their back line already decimated. Of course, no Wellesby, no Murphy, no Personal, now no Dion Cross, who's picked up a foot injury. He'll be out for a little while.
Well, they had a bit of time to think about it, and this is the solution they've come up with. So Harry Robertson goes to the wing where Owen Dagnall was, and Darrell Clark operates in the centres. I mean, that's how stripped they are. They've already got a back row in one centre. Yep. Now they've got Darrell Clark operating inside Kyle Felt.
Yep, that looks like the plan. They've got Whitley in one centre. Normally a second rower. Clark, of course, one of the best hookers in the business. That's a brilliant kick. Look where Christian Saylor's picking that up. So, Saints have been under the under the pump a bit, haven't they, in this second half? Now they've lost Owen Dagnall. It's a big rebuild, but it's a reset as well.
If I'm Aidan Caesar, if I get any kind of half-decent possession here, I'm opening the field up to take a shot left. You know, Darrell Clarke is a brilliant player.
Robertson again breaking the line. He's still going. Harry Robertson finds Moses Mbai looking for the offload. Brilliant from Mbai. Mbai looking for support. He's got pace, Moses Mbai. That was superb from Saints, from Robertson, and then from Mbai. Jake Burns is on as well for Saints, of course, with Clarke having to go into the hooker's role, and that was a brilliant pass originally from Mbai, but Lomax, I'm afraid that wasn't so good as he was looking for Robertson. Right idea, wrong execution.
Yeah, and Hull FC celebrate the little win there. Johnny Lomax not able to find the pass because they did look threadbare here. Rapin has gone in and put some pressure, some real defensive pressure on Johnny Lomax. He's had to shovel the ball on quickly and he couldn't find his mark in Robertson.
Yeah, fine margins though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a decent pass and Robertson was in. Jack Cartwright is coming off. Jack Ashworth is coming back. We're into the last quarter. Saints hanging on to their lead at 12 points to 6. The second half, it started poorly with 3 knock-ons in the first 3 sets, but since then it's been real high intensity, great rugby league. Rapinoe looking for a way through, runs into Sirinen.
Well, Rapinoe's going to have to be careful here because if he's trying to get the video referee to look at this. Yeah. But if he forces the referee to call time off, he hasn't. He's got up quickly enough. He could have faced a green card there.
And have to go off the field. Yeah.
Aidan Caesar needs to be looking in that area. Johnny Lomax, Darrell Clarke. As I was saying, Clarke is a fantastic player, but I could probably count on one hand the amount of minutes he spent defending in the centre.
Yeah. Last one, just inside their own half of the field. The shake-up that St Helens have been forced into could be all important in these last 17 or 18 minutes. We shall see. Saylor takes the high kick from Hardacre, but Saints pinned back 15 yards away from their own try line.
They're in this game up to their eyeballs, Hull FC. I wonder whether they realise it, that they are 1 score away here. And just how easily potentially it is. I think Saints are wilting a little bit. They've just got to put a good set of defence together.
And I wonder, because of that, because of the injury, because of the reshuffle, if Saints get into position, whether a drop goal becomes a priority for them. 6-point advantage as Stevens takes play just shy of halfway, but they're noticeably as well, Saints have slowed down, haven't they? Certainly at the play the ball. Moses Mbai. Taken well by Lewis Martin. 17 minutes and counting. The Hull FC to find something, trying a goal to level this game. Here is Hardacre now. Hardacre goes through the gap, gets round Robertson, but it was Whitley who made the challenge. Nearly through Zach Hardacre. But every little win here is giving them a boost.
They need to go again here. They need to go left here.
And that's what
Caesar's
the plan
seen
is.
it.
And here is Kate Kerr, stands Caesar. Caesar looking for a way through. The last tackle, midway inside the Saints half of the field. Brought down by Darrell Clarke, playing in the centre. No way through for Kate Kerr. The ball goes backwards. And then it was a knock-on by Hernan SASA. It'll be a turnover. Saints survive this whole set.
That's absolutely outstanding kick pressure from Morgan Knowles, and I think Wingfield as well. Morgan, he's moving that quickly. It's Morgan Knowles, as he just does again and again. He's relentless with that. Look at this, off the line, inside pressure, gets hands to Cust first, and then forces the error. That's brilliant stuff.
They're just checking Rapiner out as well. The whole physio going to make a decision whether he has to leave the field. He has had problems with concussion in his career. He has had problems this season as well. And I think that Rapiner is going to go off and just be checked through. May well have an HIA, but that means that Tom Briscoe will come onto the field. So pretty much like for like, HIA for Rapiner. Tom Briscoe is on. 15 minutes to go, a pulsating second half. Hull FC back in it, trying a goal to level it. Saints needing maybe one more score to win it. We shall see as Sirinin makes waves just inside the Hull FC half. Noah Stevens does well. Burrow, Fashion, SASA in there to make the tackle. Burns at dummy half. Knowles finds Alex Walmsley. Now, what are Saints thinking here, I wonder? Ball goes through for Mbaye. Sailor into the line. Offload again to Moses Mbaye. Here is Morgan Knowles. Back to Alex Walmsley. Walmsley knocks off the challenger, Jack Ashworth, and they're right in front of the post. Are we thinking drop goal?
Well, Felt's calling for this.
The ball goes back to Lomax, and Lomax instead goes wide for Carl Felt. Felt gets the ball, and he isn't able to pull it down. Well, the ball, I think, went out of play before it came back into play. And I thought they were going to go for the drop goal, because Lomax was in great position, John Wells. Instead, they go to the corner and to Carl Felt. The video ref will have a look at this, but I don't think so.
Tackle 5, we've got no try on field. We're checking onside into grounding. See at that point that all the chasers to the right are onside. When Kyle Felt comes into shot, he's onside. So we now need to check where he jumps from. Right. Kyle Felt jumps from the field, collects his ball clean. Both feet are in the field of play. Just check the behind angle on this. Right. There is always green between, right, and his arm. See where that lands. We've established he jumps from the field. And the arm lands touching goal before the ball is grounded simultaneously on the line. So it will be no try, it will be a 20-metre restart.
No try in slow motion. It was a heck of an effort. But I've got to ask you the question. When the ball went back to Johnny Lomax in front of the post, it was an ideal opportunity for a drop goal. What's your view?
Yeah, no, I agree, given the way that this game has been going. But Kyle Felt with 2 tries this afternoon, one from a crossfield kick and a take. You can forgive him for thinking that he would convert another, and he very nearly did, didn't he? The kick was perfect. And just spun on the outside, and he was inches, millimetres away from doing something pretty spectacular. But Hull FC get a reprieve, and it's a 7-tackle set as well.
Liam Knight on the charge, midway inside his own half of the field. Burrow for SASA. Clark goes low, Wingfield goes high to bring him down. But Hull, for me, are playing the ball a lot quicker than Saints. Litton breaks one tackle, can't break another. Here is Burrow now. Caesar with a long looping pass for Barron. As Barron got the legs, he's brought down by Whitley in the end. Referee says no penalty, says that Harvey Barron was looking for a penalty, and then it was a knock-on. Well, they got that all horribly wrong at the end there, did Hull FC. There looked to be an opportunity. Frustratedly there, Knight slams the ball into the ground.
Yeah, they've got to finish the sets. I mean, they were in great position there to be able to apply some pressure. You know, you get A grass burner coming at you on the last tackle. It was overcooked from dummy half. Cuss was the intended recipient. And Liam Knight doesn't want the ball anywhere near him on the last tackle. So, once again, St Helens not really having to work and not being made to work to get out these corners.
It was a long way down, wasn't it? One of the tallest men in the whole FC. Ranked here is Darryl Clark, runs into Herman SA. Walmsley has come off. Here is Noah Stevens. Made good yardage, hasn't he, every time he's had the ball, young Noah Stevens. Just over halfway. 12 minutes to go. Picked up by Moses Mbaye, but Kate Cust read it really well to bring down one number 14, bringing down another number 14. Here is Morgan Knowles.
He's been everywhere, Morgan Knowles, both sides of the ball.
Last tackle. Burns finds Mbaye, he will go high. Barron's been so good under the high kicks all afternoon, and he is yet again. Harvey Barron, I don't think he dropped one. He hasn't missed one.
No, and he gets himself airborne as well. Gets his arms above his head. Very, very difficult to pick one off against Harvey Barron.
Briscoe eventually plays the ball. Hardacre. Caesar, for me, is going to be absolutely crucial. If Hull are going to get back into this game, Aidan Caesar's the man to help them do it. But is that a knock-on? And it is. I think it's Herman SA. And that silences 11,000 people here inside the stadium.
No, it's the first. I think it's the first blot on Hardacre's copybook.
It was Hardacre.
Yeah, he's just snatched at it. He snatched at the ball. I think he's had an outstanding game. As you said, in his first game for the Black and Whites at fullback. And John Cartwright's going to have to watch his men now do their level best to get through another set of 6. And it feels a little like Groundhog Day if you're a Hull FC fan. You're watching your side defend their own goal line. And once again, St Helens have loaded this left-hand side. They've got Mbaye and Saylor with Harry Robertson on the wing.
That was not the best of passes, picked up on the bounce by Tristan Saylor. Still waiting for news to see whether Owen Dagnall has passed his HIA or not. The Saints there getting a 6 again. Ashworth is hanging on too long in the tackle. Is this where they think about the drop goal with 10 minutes to go? Noah Stevens.
Yeah, I think they do. Do you know what? I think they do. And they draw a line in the sand and they back the defence for the last 9 minutes of the game.
Here is Lomax.
And Mbaye's in position, Stuart.
Ball goes back for Mbaye, and they will try the drop goal, and it will charge down.
Oh, it's an offside as well.
And it's an offside. Well, that was the plan. And it was charged down. I think Wellens is saying that if it came off a Hull player, he can't be offside. Is it going to be another captain's challenge? No. It's going to be a penalty to Hull FC. Well, Saints made an absolute mess of that. And with 9 minutes to go, it's 12 points to 6, but some good news for St Helens, because Owen Dagnall has passed his head injury assessment.
Well, that's really positive, and I would imagine they want to get him back on the field as soon as possible and unjiggle this this defensive line, get round pegs back in round holes as best they can. Hull FC, it needs to be a bit of urgency about the Black and Whites now.
Hardacre on halfway. 8.5 minutes for Hull FC. We've seen in the second half they have the firepower to get back into it, especially with Caesar. Here is Litton, who scored their try.
Here is Dagnall waiting, stalking the touchline, waiting to get back on the field.
Caesar once more, and Hardacre. Briscoe, and Mbaye wraps him up. Still 2 tackles left in this set for Hull FC. Liam Knight. Brought down by Burns. Last one. This is going to be a massive set. And it's Caesar who goes high. Saylor will go up and take it well, right close to his own try line. And the real pressure there, Tristan Saylor.
He's done well to take it, and this is now got to be the defensive set of their lives for Hull FC. They've got to put everything they've got into this next 60 seconds. Well, this time it's Harry Robertson who's really struggling.
Fierce, ferocious and passionate defence from Hull FC. Kyle Felt relieving the pressure a little bit for St Helens. Matty Lees. Last one. They're only 30 yards out from their own try line. And Bye will get the kick away under pressure from Brad Fash.
Oh, well taken.
Taken over his head by...
Yeah, it's Litton who's taken it. Yeah, he had to adjust late as well, didn't he? Because
here is his partner in crime, Lewis Martin.
Yeah, Moses and Bye really got hold of that kick downfield, didn't he? It was very, very long, relieving kick. But Hull FC, they have got 6.5 minutes to do something about this 6-point deficit.
Brad Fash. Only one way that he knows, and that's forward. Caesar now, and so elusive.
Now then.
Penalty. Cyril and Whitley. Is this the moment for Hull FC? 6 minutes to go. And this is going to be absolutely massive.
Hardaker punches it into the corner. So St Helens are now going to be tasked with 60 seconds of squeaky clean defensive work. Hull FC going to try and open this field up, Stuart, I'm sure.
Ashworth with the first drive. Kate Custard at dummy half. A try and a goal levels this game. Here is Essay right in front of the Saints post. Custard and Caesar finds Briscoe. Here is Barron, but can't find a way through. Dagnall it was who made the tackle. Bit of help, I think, from Wingfield. Hardaker and Cuss. There may be room on that left-hand side as Caesar finds at Chamberlain. Chamberlain brought down by Robertson. Martin. Now SA for Hull FC. 10 yards out from the Saints line. Less than 5 minutes to go. This is the last one. Caesar goes towards the corner. What a take from Dagnall. What a take from Dagnall as well. And he may well have been taken without the ball. But considering he's just been off for a head injury assessment, that was a superb take from the young teenager. Yeah,
brave, had to be. Could not miss his assignment. He's sat underneath this one, gets up, and Harvey Barron, well, he arrives late as Harvey Barron. So that isn't a genuine contest for the ball. And that's the correct decision. They get a couple more possessions, I think, Hull FC, but St Helens definitely breathing a little easier now.
Whitley takes the tap. 4 minutes to go. Clock at dummy half for Saints. Walmsley now. And Saints are just going to play this safe and back their defence to keep Hull out. Lomax wriggling his way up to nearly to halfway. Darrell Clark. Walmsley swiveling and turning, thought about the offload. Last tackle for Saints. Moses and Bye. Pressure kick goes up on Barron. Oh, he dropped it. The first mistake of the game from Barron, and then Bye picks it up. Harvey Barron, for the first time in this match, drops a high kick. And have St Helens now been gifted the opportunity to perhaps win this game? Drama right at the end. Morgan Knowles stopped in front of the post. Darrell Clark at dummy half. What are we going to get from St Helens? We're going to get Walmsley on the charge. Gets no change out of Cust. Clark again. Here is Lomax now. Lomax finds Tristan Saylor. Nowhere for Saylor to go. Cuts back inside. 3 tackles gone in this set. Clark now. Misses out one. Morgan Knowles finds Matty Lees. Lees cuts inside. Lees goes on his own, but it was well read by Essay. And by Cust once more. Ball will go back to Lomax, this time for the one-pointer. And Johnny Lomax wins the game for St Helens. A crucial drop goal with 2 minutes to go. And that should be that. Saints surely will win from here. They built the pressure, they set up the play, and Lomax does the honours to win the game.
Yeah, that was the mistake, wasn't it, from Harvey Barron that set up position. It was a muddling set, wasn't it? Lacked direction, but not on the play that mattered. Johnny Lomax, the most experienced player on the field in his 17th season, his 366 Super League appearance. And he nails what could be the decisive point. Hull FC go short, they get nothing out of that either.
Guess who was under it? Kyle Felt was under that. Saints are going to win it. It's been grueling, but it's been a real pulsating game, and it's been played at a really good pace throughout. For the most part, in these conditions, Walmsley driving the ball forward. Saints are going to go 4th in Super League. Hull's win, or wait for a home win, nearly in a year. And they're going to lose again here at home this season. Knowles finds Walmsley. And that, as we go into the last minute, that was all that Saints needed to do. Take play as far downfield as possible. Hull have given it a real go, but they're going to come up short again, John Wells.
They are, and I think that they'll bemoan those mistakes, those errors in possession, those missed opportunities in the first half. I think the second half has been much better from them. Been some brilliant individual performances, haven't they? Aidan Caesar's been awesome. Zach Hardacre back at fullback has been great. This back unit have been fantastic. But St Helens, I think they've put everybody on notice because they were under a real wobble earlier in the season. They're now putting games together. They are shorn of a number of players. I wouldn't say they're making light of it, but they're picking up competition points.
Rapinoe brought down, the clock is ticking. And for St Helens, as the hooter goes, this is going to be a huge win. One last go for Hull FC, one last play for Zach Hardacre. In the end, he's brought down by Lees and by Walmsley and by that man Morgan Knowles on halfway. And that is the full-time hooter. St Helens go 4th in Super League with their 6th win in the last 7 games. They were forced to do it tough, but they did it tough. Hull FC mounting a challenge in the second half, but despite the brilliant try from David Litton, created by Aidan Caesar, there was no way back, and Hull's miserable home record continues. Saints win by 13 points to 6.